I am in Seattle.
Wonderful. So straight from the CEO World Record Studio, which is the first world record attempt made by female entrepreneurs, aimed to gather most ethical and impact-driven leaders worldwide. We are having Mr. Naveen Jain from Seattle, who is, you won't believe that. I mean, when I got your reply, yes, I literally broke my bed. I was jumping from joy that you joined. So Naveen is, for me, it's a living legacy, an icon in making, true genius, whom when I see you, when I listen to you, when I read about you, I just literally see you walking into the room and unapologetically and firstly asking those bold questions that nobody is even daring to ask. So welcome, Naveen, to the CEO World Record.
First of all, Laura, you're such a kind soul and you're such a great human being. My gratitude to you for doing what you do, and thank you for being so kind.
Oh, amazing. Honor, Naveen, absolutely honor. So let's go ahead because I've been thinking so much, how do I want to take this dialogue? So I really want to tap into your genius mindset and ask you, how do you imagine the world 100 years from now? Just let's think that we all going to die and we are reborn 100 years from now, and then we are reborn into something. What would that look like?
Well, first of all, we shouldn't take it for granted that we are all going to die in 100 years because there is a decent chance that humanity will find a way for us to be able to at least experience life as we know it today for maybe several hundred years and maybe several thousand years for all we know. Because, we could argue about what does it really mean to be alive, right? What is it that we call us as a person? So what makes Laura a Laura? What makes Naveen a Naveen, right? It is our memories and our experiences because, every part of our body, we can replace our knees, we can replace our hips, we can even replace our heart with a, different heart, but it still is us. And what makes us who we are is our memories and our experiences that makes us who we are. What if we can preserve those memories and experiences and maybe in the same biological body or maybe in a different body altogether, but maybe we can continue to live for a long time. So having said that, but let me go back to answer your questions about in 100 years. I mean, the way these technologies are progressing and growing exponentially and converging at the same time, that means the sensors, the artificial intelligence, and all of these things in a broadband, the storage and the processing power is growing so exponentially and coming together, it will fundamentally change the trajectory of how humanity is going to live. Now, if you think about it, today our brain is limited, our cognitive functions are limited by the amount of neocortex we have on our things, and that's limited by the way we are born going through the birth canal, right? That's literally is what limits to how much neocortex humanity can have. Now imagine if we can expand the neocortex to the cloud, and suddenly we can have unlimited cognitive power, unlimited learning abilities, unlimited processing power. Now, if you start to think about further and say today we are, very ancient technology where our sensors are actually glued to our body, just like a landline phone that was plugged into our homes, and we had to be there where the phone is for us to be able to experience that telecommunication. And similarly, our eyes and our ears and our touch is all limited to, connected to our body and limited to where we are physically. Now imagine one day that my eyes, my ears, my uh, nose and my touch can be anywhere in the world, and my brain would not know the difference where I am. And my brain is going to feel that I am in Rome. My brain is going to think I am in Barcelona. My brain is going to feel I'm in New Delhi. It doesn't matter. In fact, even the fact that, like my mom used to say, you know, You can't be in two places at the same time. What if you can't be in two places at the same time? Because brain would not know the difference whether you are in those two places or not, because all the information that's coming from your sensors is synchronized as if you are there. So my fundamental belief is in the next 100 years, the information even today, I mean, look, we are at a very, very early stage of AI, and we have this, we call it chat gpt, in early stages of development, where almost every information you can go and ask, and it really depends on the questions you ask, the answers you get, right? And this is only the information that's collected in the last 25, 30 years that has been on the internet. Now imagine if there is a GPT, universe GPT, that has had the information about humanity since the beginning of time, even the time when the first amoeba was born 3.5 billion years ago, and we have all of this information that's available to us, and we can prompt and ask the questions we want, and it gives you the answer. Now, depending on how enlightened you are, you can ask a different set of questions, right? And now, if you're very enlightened like Buddha, you're asking a prompt to the universe GPT, and says, what's the purpose of life? And you're starting to get the answers to it. Now, you can call that, universe GPT as God, or you can call that universe GPT. But the fact is, it's starting to feel like that we can be a prophet, we can be, have connection to God, because we really have all that coming together. Now I'm going tangent here, but next 100 years are going to bring this unbelievable amount of changes that today they sound like a crazy idea. Laura is thinking, this guy has gone completely crazy. What is he talking about? But this is really what people thought before ChatGPT came out, right? This is going to change. And as our children are growing up, they're going to think that this is just natural growth of humanity.
Amazing, Naveen. Here he was, totally blowing my mind, and I just knew that you're gonna do that. I totally knew that 100 years is it's a bias again, and that I mean, if everyone listened, Naveen is just really iconic in asking right questions and what if, and just imagining the unbelievable things. Naveen, where I want to take our conversation, it is that the CEO world record is all about creating audacious impact, the one you wake up in the morning with the shiny eyes, you have the
Yeah,
energy, you are connected in oneness with that. And when I
yeah,
speak about that with other CEOs, it seems that they are falling into the trap of sustainability. And
yeah,
especially because I am in Europe, and then like we have a lot of laws and etc. and UN 17 goals, and like it seems that every company now is just looking at those 17 goals and like from outside in putting an add-on on themselves. And where I want actually to take every
yeah,
CEO who's participating in this CEO world record, it is to really, really think audaciously big. So, what are your maybe thoughts about sustainability and then audacity and abundance? I know you have some.
Well, first of all, Laura, the sustainability, the way we are looking at it today, is a completely brain dead, because we are coming in from the perspective of scarcity. We believe that things are scarce, and we believe the sustainability comes from conserving what we have, because we have finite amount of things. So we talk about sustaining water, you talk about sustainable energy, as if somehow these things are going to go away. Now, and that is a mindset of scarcity, where we believe the land is scarce, the energy is scarce, the water is scarce, especially fresh water, right? And then you look up in the universe up, and we realize that we live in a tiny, tiny blue dot in our solar system. And Somehow we believe this is where we are destined to live without realizing what if the humanity can live on other places? What if we could live on not just the moon, but Mars, Venus, or beyond our solar system into another solar system in our galaxy? What if we can go beyond our galaxy into a different galaxy? What if we can go beyond our universe into another multiverse, right? And suddenly you start to realize there is no scarcity of land, there is no scarcity of water, there is universe is full of water. And when we talk about energy, every 90 minutes more energy falls on planet earth than we use in a whole year. Just is simply a matter of conversion and storage, and that problem will get solved, and we will have abundant free energy. And once we have abundant free energy, we'll have abundant fresh water, because we can desalinize the water, we can distill the dirtiest water, and we can solve those problems. We can solve the problem of food, because there is no reason for us to believe that we as human beings, how are we going to grow that food? The question we should be asking is, why do we eat food? And can we get, now we only need food for energy and nutrition. What if we can get nutrition in different ways? What if we can get energy in different ways? And we can suddenly start to rethink our whole idea of sustainability is completely brain dead. And the sustainability will never come from conservation. It will only come from creating more of what we need, needing more of where we need, being where the resources are. And we don't have to be confined just to planet Earth. And if we open up our mind, we'll see that there is no reason for us to believe that we need to conserve. We can actually splurge, because we know there's going to be plenty of it.
And this is why this is just so amazing to speak to you, because I'm thinking about the listeners, and I know that most
Yeah,
of us are European CEOs, right?
yeah,
And what does it take for us to think audaciously big, like
hmm,
limitless? Because I feel that in every type of strategic session, whether it's entrepreneurs, startups, we are still kind of dulling down our essence and that bravery and even
yeah,
naivety, because I would love people to be naive during these type of
yeah.
open dialogue. So what does
Hmm.
that take for us to think like that?
Well, first of all, Laura, we are trained to believe in experts, right? We're trained to believe that someone who knows, who is an expert on a subject, is the person who should be telling us what to do. And what I realize is, once you become expert in any field, you become incrementalist, you become useless, in my humble opinion, because you starting to take everything that you know as for granted. You're not able to challenge the foundation of what actually makes you an expert. So it takes a non-expert coming from outside the industry, looking in, challenging the foundation of everything that expert has taken it for granted, and not just reimagining, but recreating the reality of what is possible. So experts look at the world as is, and the naive and the non-experts look at the world what it can be, and they're willing to go out there and create the world that they imagine. So it, as you started, it's about imagination of what is possible, asking yourself, what if it was actually doable, what if it was actually possible, and our whole world will look completely different than as we know today.
Curiosity, right?
Yes, yes,
Having curiosity. And I really want to speak about Viome, because it's something
yeah,
that is like, to me, I don't know, I I talk about that to every individual, and I love the question, the way you framed it. What if a disease can be a choice rather than a
yes,
consequence, and that
yes.
we as entrepreneurs and as leaders and as those brave souls, we should ask ourselves those huge, huge questions about and moving like to the cause of the biggest problem rather than fitting with the consequences. So going back to the world record question, so
Yeah,
how is the world and beyond probably
yes,
better off because YM is in it?
yes. Right. So first of all, Laura, thank you for asking me that. I started Viome with a simple belief. By the way, Viome is spelled V as in Victor, IOME. And the reason I started Viome, because I started to realize that every chronic disease can actually be prevented. When I say chronic disease, I mean non-infectious diseases such as diabetes, such as obesity, depression, anxiety, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer, Parkinson's. These are the diseases that can actually be prevented. These are lifestyle diseases. There is nothing in our human body that says we must have these chronic diseases. I am not talking about now genetic diseases like sickle cell anemia. I'm not talking about something that you're born with. Now, every other disease is a lifestyle disease. And they are based on our microbiome in our gut, microbiome in our mouth, and microbiome that is all over us. What we at Viome do is analyze your gut, analyze your oral microbiome, analyze your finger prick blood to all of the gene expression. And here is the question we ask. While everyone in the universe was focused on trying to understand your DNA or your genes, we realized that was a bad idea. And here is why. Now, if you were to do my DNA test today and then I gain 200 pounds, my DNA is still the same. Now I become diabetic, my DNA is still the same. Now I have heart disease, my DNA is still the same. I get depression, I get anxiety, you can do my DNA again, it's still the same. And then I die. And then you do my DNA again 10 years after I die. It's still the same DNA. We can look at the DNA of a dinosaur 65 million years ago, right? If DNA can't even tell you you're dead or alive, how will it ever tell you you're healthy or sick? So by experts looking at your DNA and somehow finding that there is a solution there is another brain dead idea. What we realized was what changes all the time is your RNA. Your gene expression is always changing, even though your genes don't change. So Laura, just think about it. Every part of our body, my hair, my skin, my eyes, my heart, my lungs, my kidney, they all have the same DNA. Yet they're all different. So why is it I don't have the eyes growing on my finger and the nails growing on my head? It's the same DNA. And the reason is some genes are overexpressed, some underexpressed, and the same thing can become eyes or hair or nails. It just depends on what genes are expressed. Now imagine, instead of looking at my DNA, if you're looking at DNA is an alphabet, RNA is a story we are writing with it, right? So by looking at your RNA, we can tell you, are you developing a disease? Are you moving towards a disease? And are you moving away? And then we look at not what gut microbiomes exist, which is another brain dead thing people do. They focus on trying to find out what organisms are in your gut, what organisms are in your mouth. And what we realized was it is not the organism, it is what they do that matters, right? So you can have Akkermansia, which can be good for you and producing butyrate, or Akkermansia can kill you, and it is the number one reason for getting MS, right? So it's not the organism that is good or bad, it is the behavior that can be good or bad. Just like a human being, you can take a person, put them in a good environment, good behavior, put them in a bad environment, bad behavior. And so what we do is, Laura, is we analyze your touch of a stool, spit of your saliva, 4 drops of your finger prick blood. We can tell you your biological age, your cognitive health, your heart health, your immune health, your gut health, your oral health. And then we tell you, don't eat these foods, and here is why. Eat these foods, and here is why. Don't take vitamin B3 because your uric acid production is too high. And don't eat avocado, by the way. Or don't eat broccoli because your sulfide production is too high. Or don't eat spinach because your oxalate metabolism is poor, right? And then we can tell you what supplements you need. And we go beyond that. We actually tell you, you need 22 milligram of elderberry, you need 27 milligram of lycopene, you need 29 milligram of berberine. And we literally make the capsule with only those ingredients for each individual every month and ship it to you, right? So think about it. Completely personalized nutritional recommendations, completely personalized supplements, probiotic, prebiotic, personalized toothpaste, personalized oral lozenges, everything made for you based on your gene expression. And we believe by doing that, we are able to show that your diabetes comes down by 30%, your depression comes down by 47%, your IBS symptoms comes down by 45%, your anxiety comes down. And we were able to show we can detect stage 1 cancer or pre-stage 1 cancer in your mouth or your throat with 95% specificity and 90% plus sensitivity. Now, that is, to me, if we can prevent the diseases from happening and we can stop their progression, we have really moved the humanity forward.
This is so freaking pioneering. And when I read your book in 2018, I just thought, if each individual on the planet could get that, I mean, just imagine how many things
Yeah,
we can do good. So this is unbelievable. I even have the kit coming from Ireland because my
yeah,
mom is
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I had to shop it over there and just can't wait to use that. And it's so amazing. And Naveen, now speaking about Viome and its audacious,
Mhm.
it's truly audacious pioneering impact, and the question you phrased, I know you got guys, scientists working, there are
Yeah.
laboratories across the globe, and etc. What I read so far, my question would be for you: what does it take, like ritual wise, within the company and beyond,
Mhm.
with all its parts of the ecosystem, to stay anchored to this audacious
Yep.
impact and always have the mindset of curiosity even when you are not
Yep.
there, when this,
Yep.
other people are in it.
Yep. Well, first of all, Laura, that's a great question because to some extent, everyone working in the company is working for one reason and one reason only because they all believe they are part of this revolution that want to fundamentally change the way people are going to live their lives. How can we positively impact the lives of billions of people, right? So we wake up every day with one goal and one goal only. What can I do today to help billions of people live healthier lives? And we know if we continue to focus on doing that, we will not only help billions of people, we will also create $100 billion company. But we never wake up in the morning and say, what should I do to make $100 billion company? To us, making money is simply a byproduct of doing things that improve other people's lives. And everyone in our company is focused on making other people's lives better.
This is so powerful, and it's actually completely different from what we've seen in a traditional management like models, indeed.
Yeah.
Really want to reveal you a bit more as a person, Naveen. Could you share with us, maybe there are some fears that you are aware that you are it's holding you back, even though I don't believe that, but anyway, or there are some things you want to let go, which you are aware of as a human.
Yes. Well, first of all, as an entrepreneur, as a human being, you have to learn to live your life and you have to be alive. And the only way we are alive is we have a heartbeat. What does a heartbeat look like? It goes up and down and up and down. And when it's smooth, you're dead. When you are looking for living a life of a smooth life, you're looking to live a life of a dead person. Now, these ups and downs tells you are alive. When you are at the bottom of the beat, all you have to do is hunker down and know the next beat is going to be up. And when you are on top of that beat, never become too arrogant because always remember winter is coming and winter shall come, right? So to me, it's about living a life that has ups and downs, but never is smooth because that's the life of a dead person. Believing that everything is possible, knowing that your success is never defined by how much money you have in the bank, but your success is defined by how many lives you actually improve, knowing that when you become humble is when you become successful, because if you still have iota of arrogance left in you, then you're still trying to prove something to yourself or someone else. To really live a life of humility, and then live a life of the such audacious goals that actually you believe in yourself that you can achieve.
Beautiful said. The beat of the heart, up and down.
Yes.
It's sinking into me. And I got the last question. Uh,
Yeah.
I know your story that you came to United States from India
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
$5 in the pocket, and there are so many as well. I come from Eastern Europe, which was a part of
Yes.
Soviet Union many years ago, and there are what I see in so many of our cultures around, like Baltic states, Poland, Ukraine itself, that
Yeah.
To some degree, we are like, a little bit victims of the narrative, and thinking
Yep.
that, we've been born in this type of country, we never had
Yep.
a proper education system and other types of things. And you are like really an example that these things can happen. I mean, you can be the creator of your life.
Yep.
And if there are the listeners from Eastern
Hmm?
Europe and they know that, they
Yep.
have this niggling thought of who
Hmm?
am I to play big? Who is going to
Yep.
listen to my audacious freaking questions and who is going to
Yep.
invest in me? What
Hmm?
could you tell them, Naveen?
Oh my, it's really, really simple. Because remember, the system we grew up told us that you are not capable of doing anything. You need to rely on authorities to do something for you. You were told that you better not fail, because if you fail, you were dead. And what I realize is the only time you really fail in life is when you give up. Your idea may or may not work, but every idea that does not work is simply a stepping stone to a different idea and a bigger idea. So if you go back and look at Thomas Edison, he said, "I never failed 1,000 times. I simply figured out 1,000 ways the light bulb did not work. So I actually were able to find a way that it does work." And that is what success is about. It's about 1,000 different ideas that don't work. And that's not a failure. You only fail when you actually say, "I give up." And everything else is simply a pivot.
Thank you, Naveen, very much for being here. It's truly, epic that I can
Thank you.
experience you and talking to you. Thank you so much.